Care office, private living, not the office, kind of the room beside the office. 26 April 2022 will make a movement today considering the trial at Federal Justice USA against a group of crimes committed since and have the angles on the corruption. The corruption clustered on public budget interval 1988 up to 2022, projected until 2028 without no control. The integration of crimes goes by physiological areas in global scale with failures interconnecting chains and purpose, and this is an organogram. We could check that this organogram sets the behavior as organization and this purpose as organized things had been noticed and reported as illegal. Illicit is a criminal organization acting from regular areas, which has qualified as positive one. The action is not okay, is corrupted, negative one, and the intention 0, 0. Permutative value by the failure negative one on areas positive one. You suddenly will check that your institution or your organization indeed will be or already had qualified as criminal organization. This pattern is a matrix. The matrix operative pattern is denied on public budget but goes on public budget. Indeed, you can switch the information on budget, especially related with debt and credit, having the specification of things. All quadrants, which means buildings that contains a public institution or department, had the use of budget. They are integrated on it, doing contracts sometimes with international players. And the flow and reversal flow as information of each one of those contracts give ourselves the perception how bad things are. This will be presented on economy without balance between supply and demand by the cost of governments that is beyond the limits as taxation, and then if we had that modest frontier of possibilities, the taxation will never be enough, and then you will have the need as internal need, claim investment of others to keep after have the entrance in a unique storage as your national treasury, the use of budget to transfer money for criminal groups. This is your accusation. Corruption, criminal association, even by budget, and blind eye association, as transnational organized crime, unfortunately notorious. Facts and circumstances points to white-collar crime, tax evasion, financial evasion, tax evasion going, as do not have the proper payment or such a privilege for a group or yourself, especially by decision on judicial system, or have the transference of public resource for criminal groups. We could observe that the driver in general is the real estate, the integration between frauds on budget, storage on bank system, and operation as real estates always go as a contract. And you have to sign this contract by yourself or by some image that presents and represents you. We will check the reading on our diary that indeed you do not respect. If you make an entrance in a space as a person or the digital entrance, if you have a research on it or industrial project, you are trying to steal industrial secrets, core business of activity, which is the most difficult thing to raise inside a business, especially all legal like this. 26, it's the report, as you could observe very soon. We kind of have an academic research industrial portfolio as international cooperation, always under interference and unfair treatment, systematic aggression by continuum of risk, brings the continuous risk, indeed complainant, to corruption and nepotism, to keep the offenders inside and have the encouragement and increasement by others. The failure began as interest is a hierarchical distribution of gains by the type and level of association indeed you had. It's a Ponzi scam, a criminal scam at the financial system, international change in the evaluation of economy, economic crimes, financial crimes, white-collar crimes with public corruption associated with corruption as international corruption scam. The accusation is so strong and so valid that you will be convicted. Indeed, you know this. Models for research and protection of credit, especially the legitimacy of this, the credit, originated as a legal right against the organized activity that do systematic violation, since your basic rights and guarantees until industrial crime may be warfare. They consider themselves untouchable, except if they got touched by the word spelled by themselves as a plea bargain or an institutional agreement forced to do by Article 174 and 37. The regression is all according with the Brazilian Constitution to be presented at the U.S. Federal Justice, and you will all be sent to jail even and considered the antitrust justice. The model of corruption, integrating new all and having the storage of illicit arguments as financial quantification of things, but the evaluation of economy with trend in negative one, indeed presented on present time as 0. The criminal value quantified in Brazil is 33 trillion, and we are charging and taking this model for regression against institution and the individualization by specific handlings do incorporate cooperation with USA, as US judicial power are not related on public budget Brazil. At least I do not have this information. Then we will check now that we are doing our charge as compensation, considering that we have the relation between debt and credit. Debt and credit. This relation goes by a crosscut that will transfer in resource, and this crosscut is named public budget. This public budget goes on time. Since 1988 up to 2022, we had the decreasement of capacity as this budget. And to beef up things and have the continuity of your corruption as the lack of capacity, you, guess what, requested investment all around using even sports entities. Then we have the interest as transference of this, and your use, indeed, is a misusage of capacity as your public budget, and this value here, as you can observe, is a small share. Indeed, is what you apply, and in not good faith, the development of your society, economy, and things. The situation goes like this, as you can observe, having the cross by time. Then we will check that we had another line here on 2022 and another line here. Now we will put, guess what, letters. I will call this space as letter A, which is the misusage of your public treasury. The B, which is what you apply with your capacity as income by taxpayer under abusive taxation. And the letter C, the investment you need all around the globe. We will check our Venn diagram, considering that you operate by matrix behavior and pattern and fusification of value. We will check that we will have maybe one area here, that is the angle stone of this operation that goes as failure on budget. It's the corruption, but we will track the corruption by variables corrupted that indeed committed other type of crimes, even by the image, having the domain of circumstance. And the image of them all integrated on budget points to institutions. Then we will check that the institution indeed will offer them by Article 174 and 37, the regression, because it's a charge as 33 trillion that must be presented as debit and credit on your budget, and the law 4,000, I think, the budget law 4,082, I think, something like this. You must indicate the source to have the payments of obligations on your budget as public politics that you do. But this charge indeed is an obligation by public politics, but you must indicate on your budget. The creditors has the right to research your budget since 1988 to understand if maybe we can have a permutative interest. Instead of charge you 33 trillion, charge you 20 trillion and have influence on areas, obtain information and things like this as data asset, or heads to be sent to jail, to a bowl, and things like this. We will check that our situation here is the investment, and this situation here in red is your tax system with two levels as information. One for the citizen that indeed has one specific types of inflation, it's 2%, and to have the review of salaries paid, which in January is 25%. All information got crossed by cross-cut considering the security foreign and confirmed. And you have the modification of data even on subsidiary areas, because all this information as tax system with duplicitous level operated as a matrix which is denied, it's a fake record. And the fake record about the fake records on public treasury since 1988 is a crime on 313A of your criminal law. It means that you have the subsidiary criminal records by corruption with criminal intent, all of you by the law 12,850, qualified as criminal organization. And we will prove this one more time by the regression against institutions that must point in lawfare the offenders. And it's suggested to have the list of offenders hanged and search a group with one head specific, the attorney or law firms on USA, because you do not speak English, and if you probably will not have enough money to pay as attorney or law firm for each one of you. So such a group, have corruption is amazing, isn't it? I bet you do. And we are maybe trying 3 Nobel Prizes as economy that brings peace, and the peace is the health of we all, quantified by astrophysics as a name named ataraxia. Have a nice day.